Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you all are doing well. This is me, Aisha Zahid, your science teacher, and I welcome you all in the today's session where we'll be going to discuss the overview about the chapter water as we have completed it. So let's have a overview of the chapter. So in the chapter water, we have discussed the basic concept of water, what is the basic composition of water. We have discussed about the importance of water, like the importance of water in the human beings, the importance of water in the plants. We have discussed the sources of water, and further we have discussed the impurities of water. What are the basic health conditions that occurs when there is a impure water intake. Then we have discussed water processing, like the treatment of water, that how the impurities of that water is treated. We have performed a class experiment as well, in which we have performed the water purification, in which we have purified a sand water into a clean water, right? Then we have discussed the uses of water in the different departments and in the different areas of the life, how water is used. Then we have discussed the ways to conserve, to store the water properly. So first of all, we have discussed that what basically water is. So water is very much important for the life, as 70% of the earth's surface is covered with the sea, right? And most of the major component of a human body is water as well. All of our body is comprises of 70% of the water. So all the basic functions, which are circulatory system, digestive system, they all require what? Water. Like obviously in circulatory system, it permits the blood flow through the blood vessels, and therefore the very much essential minerals and nutrients dissolves easily in the water, so that they can be distributed throughout the body, right? Further, we have discussed that water is very much beneficial for our body because it maintains the body temperature. We have discussed about the term homeostasis. Like what is homeostasis? Homeostasis is basically the management, the control, the balance of a body's internal temperature as compared to the external temperature. We know that if the temperature is warmer outside the body, so the body needs to be cooled down. So how the body is cooled down? By the process of sweating. And the sweating is what? Sweating is basically the water that we intake, it comes out of the body to cool down the body, right? So the basic and the most important function of water is that it maintains the temperature of a body. In like as in humans we have a sweating process, so in plants we have a transpiration, like through which the water evaporates through the surface of the leaves. We have discussed it, right? Then we have discussed the basic uses of water, the how the water is beneficial. So we know that in plants water is very much beneficial, as water makes food. How water makes food? Basically, water reacts with the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct of a human body. So when carbon dioxide reacts with water, it forms glucose, as well as water and oxygen gas is released from the plants, that is used by the humans, right? um, Water is a habitat for many of the organisms, like the sea organisms, for like the fishes, the seahorses, octopus, all the marine life. The all so the marine life's habitat is water. So furthermore, we have discussed that water is used in the houses for the cooking purpose, for like cleaning purpose, for cleaning of the clothes, cars, houses, for bathing, for like everything, planting as well. Water in the industries. So we have discussed that water is used in the industries. Like there are many of the equipments, machineries that are used in the industries. So the water is used to cool down those machines. Water is used as a basic solvent, as it is known as a universal solvent because it can dissolve about 99% of the solutes in it, right? Further, we have discussed that water is not only important for human beings, but it plays a very important role in the entire ecosystem. Like water vapors in the atmosphere absorbs the sun heat. Like the more the humidity is, the less the sun's heat will be bothered. Water cycle is very much important, so water is needed to complete that cycle. Furthermore, the rain water is very much important for the hills and for all the stones that needs to be sedimented. So yeah, then we have discussed that not only water but the pure water, the clean water is necessary for the sustainability of water, for the sustainability of life, right? For a peaceful, prosper, healthy life, we need clean water, not only water. Because the polluted and the impure water will automatically leads us towards different diseases, leads us towards different health uh, disasters and all. Then we have discussed about the spiritual importance of water. As Muslims, according to the Muslims' belief, we have Zamzam, which is known as a spiritual pure water. In Hinduism, the water is known as a Ganga river. According to them, the Ganga river has healing power for their many of the diseases, their problems, and all. Right. Furthermore, we have discussed about the sources of water. So there are basic sources of water, which are ocean water and freshwater resource. Ocean waters are also known as salt water because they have the high concentration of salts in it. Um, like the 97% of the total water on earth is the ocean water. ठीक है. Then we have discussed about the fresh water. Fresh water is basically the sweet water because it has low concentration of dissolved salts and minerals in it. Like 2.5% of the total water surface of the earth is of the fresh water. um, Ocean water is basically not suitable for drinking. Fresh water is used for drinking and all the life purposes. Then we have discussed about the groundwater resource, like what basically groundwater resource is. So groundwater resource is the water that is present below the ground. Like now, where does the groundwater come from? So basically, when the rainwater seeps into the ground, it reaches into the rock strata, where water cannot seep through easily, right? So that contains the groundwater. Then we have discussed that fresh water contains 2.5% of the total water surface, in which most of the percentages of the glaciers and the ice caps, they are the basic source of the fresh water. Then we have discussed about the impurities of water. So there are many impurities of water that makes the water not suitable for drinking and not suitable for any usage. There are three types of impurities: dissolved impurities, suspended impurities, and living matter. Dissolved impurities are those which cannot be seen through the naked eye, and those impurities can be iron, calcium, magnesium, and some of the gases. इसके अलावा we the dissolved impurities makes the water turbid, मतलब unclear, cloudy surface, of the water. Suspended impurities are those that do not dissolve and remain suspended at the bottom of the surface of the container in the water, which is known as suspended impurities. That can be sand, that can be clay. As we have performed an experiment in the class, so we have observed that when we were dissolving the sand in the water, what was happening, the sand was not dissolving in the water completely. It was sedimented at the bottom layer, right? Then we have living matter. Like what living matter basically is, when sunlight falls on impure water, it makes the water environment suitable for lower organisms to grow. These organisms may include algae, fungi, worms, bacteria, and different other microorganisms. So the presence of a microorganism, like the presence of a living thing in the water, also makes the water contaminated. As we have discussed, many of the waterborne diseases, in which some of the microorganisms, some of the bacteria are present in the water, right? So that type of impurity is known as living matter. Like living organism is present in the water, that is making the water impure. Now what basically are the effects of the impurities? So impurities present in the water obviously affects the quality of the life and make us unsuitable for everything. Turbid water, and turbid water will obviously we will not use any turbid water, as the impurities cannot be seen, but the appearance of the water is not suitable for drinking and for using all the purposes. Then we have discussed the process for the treatment of the water. We have discussed about the pre-treatment. So in pre-treatment, we have discussed two stages, which is screening and aeration. Screening is the first step in which all the debris, all the impurities that can be seen through a naked eye are removed. Then in the aeration, in the second step, fresh air or ozone gas is passed, is interacted through the screened water, so that the different sort of gases can release out from the water, and it improves the color, odor and taste of the water. So in the second step, we have discussed about the coagulation. We have discussed that for the coagulation process we use alum, which is aluminium sulfate. I also have shown you the alum, which is known as pitcrete. So the alum is used for the coagulation process. Coagulation, what basically coagulation is, like after mixing, after rotating alum in the container, what basically happens is all the impurities stick to the alum. Okay. Coagulation is also known as flocculation. After adding alum in the container, all the particles will be attached, stick to the alum. Then all the impurities, all the dust, all everything will be sedimented at the bottom of the container, and that stage is known as sedimentation. Then it comes about the filtration, in which the sludge is formed, and basically there are different layers, in which there is a layer of a coal, layer of a sand and layer of gravel filter, in which the water is filtered out. After filtration, we have chlorination, in which chlorine is added in the water. We know that the chlorine is known as the best disinfectant. So chlorine is used for the process of chlorination, just to kill the germs. After chlorination, we have neutralization reaction. This process, neutralization is the process basically just to clean the water. Like the alum that we have added, the chlorine that we have added is need to be removed from the water now, so that it can become more drinkable and more uh, effective for the use. Then the last step is for the storage and the supply. Like all the processed and the pure water is then stored properly in the tanks and then supplies to the waters. This was a summary for all the processes, in which screening means floating objects, aeration means the interaction of air and the ozone gas. Then chlorination, which is basically the killing the germs. Bacteriological pollution are the germs, microorganisms, so they are killed by the chlorination. Suspended solids are the sedimentation, like particles are suspended, sedimented at the bottom. And then the coagulation, which is all the particles are stick to the alum. Treatment of water to make it mineral free. So then we have discussed about the treatment of water. uh, Basically there is another method to obtain water clear and clean, and that process is known as distillation. It is the mostly widely used process in different countries. In Pakistan, distillation is mostly practiced in the laboratories and in some of the industries as well. For distillation, we need to heat the water in the flask. Then we have to fit it with a thermometer to observe the temperature. Then water is heated at its boiling point, which is 100 degrees Celsius. The vapors are then passed through the condenser. The condenser is supplied with the cold water, which cools the vapors and condenses these into the liquid again. This liquid is then collected in a container, and the outlet of the condenser, these are into the, which is known as distillate. ठीक है जी. अच्छा, फिर we have discussed about the uses of water in the homes. The water are used for cleaning, cooking, drinking, washing the vehicles, clothes, dishes, and everything. In agriculture, like Pakistan is an agricultural country, so Pakistan needs very much water because crops are water dependent, right? So in industries, we know that it's used for the cooling of the equipments. It's used as a solvent because many of the solutes can dissolve in it properly. उसके बाद water is also used for generating electric energy, electric supplies, which is known as hydropower generation. Then we have discussed how to conserve water effectively. So we have to turn off the tap while you are brushing the teeth and while you are washing the dishes and clothes and all. Use pans to wash fruits and vegetables instead of using the baskets in which the there is a more trend of uh, losing the water. Then we should plant the water in the morning and in the evening where temperature is low, so that it will require less water. Then avoid showering instead of use bucket for bathing, right? Then we have discussed that water left after washing can be used for other purposes like planting the trees and mopping and also on. So this was all about the chapter water that we have completed recently. If you have any question and any query regarding these topics, regarding these chapter, regarding the activity that we have performed in the class, you can come and discuss in the class. We'll figure all the questions and all the queries at that time. Up till then, take care, be prepare about the coming class test and obviously the midterms. I'm hoping that you guys will score about above 85 marks at least in my course, right? So be happy and healthy and start learning. Up till the next video, take care. Thank you so much for your listenings. Allah Hafiz.